All right, hi everyone, Josh Hughes here with American Coaster Enthusiasts Northwest Region at the 2025 Montana State Fair. We're going to check out some rides and check out some creds here. And throughout the week, I'm going to be doing some different videos on different kinds of things like ride history and all that kind of fun stuff. And so if you want to check out the fair, it's going on from today through August 2nd at the Montana State Fair Fairgrounds here in Great Falls, Montana. And we've got some cool stuff to check out, so let's get on it. So as I previously mentioned, we have a couple credits at the fair this year. This one is a Pinfari Zyklon 47 meter model, which 47 meters means the amount of footprint it takes up from front to back. And we haven't had a coaster this size at the Montana State Fair since the 90s. And actually back then it was a different Pinfari Zyklon model, so kind of a homecoming, although this is a different one, I believe. Same layout, but different example of it. This specific Pinfari Zyklon is themed as Arctic Blast, and I got to talk with the guys setting it up yesterday. It's a really cool thing to learn about, like about all the work they go into putting it up. Like, for instance, if we look at the supports here, this support that goes vertically up and down is called a bent. And then the ones that go angled like that are called cross ties. We got to see them finishing putting that up yesterday. I may eventually put up separate footage of that. All right, so this year they actually brought a Funtime Slingshot. And people used to be afraid of these because especially the old bungee ones were kind of dangerous. I think it was Coaster College that referred to them as one of the most dangerous rides to ever tour a fair circuit. But these newer ones are actually very safe, because they don't use bungee cords. They use multiple steel cables going to each side of the rider vehicle. And they also use traditional over-the-shoulder restraints instead of the different kind of restraints you'd find on all sorts. Like, you can see these two riders here. They're using traditional roller coaster style over-the-shoulder restraints, which the older models used all sorts of different kinds of restraints and to various levels of effect. But you'll see each side of the rider vehicle has multiple steel cables going to it, so there's, even if one cable snaps, which is already unlikely, it doesn't matter. You'll be still supported, you'll still be safe. And the tension isn't directly stored in bungee cords anymore. It's actually stored over here in this box of springs. As these people go up, you'll start to see the springs pull tightly to create that tension for the launch. And that means that if something were to snap, it's most likely going to be one of those springs and it's inside that box. It's not going to hurt anyone. And the only thing that would happen is that the riders wouldn't get quite as much oomph out of a launch as they would normally get. So we should start to see building tension here. Yep, there we go. The springs are going up. And in a second, you'll see these guys kind of tilt to go skyward. And it's getting almost to time. The springs are almost at full tension. Let me see if I can pull the camera back enough. Okay, we're at full tension. Here we go, they're launching up. And you'll notice that as they come back down, they don't wobble side to side. All those extra cables help keep a side to side motion nice. And that's great because I actually rode one of the bungee ones back in the day, and they would do this like towel whip motion when you got down to there, and that hurt really bad. But these ones don't do it. They're much safer. And you can see those springs breathing in and out. That creates the bouncing motion up and down. And long story short, these newer models are a lot safer. And if you're looking at a Slingshot and you're wondering, man, I wonder if that one's safe to ride, look for the spring box. If it's got a spring box, it's a newer model. So the Slingshot I just showed you, along with Speed right there, that's a KMG Speed from Holland, and a KMG Blackout, also from Holland, are actually not owned by the Thomas Carnival. They're owned by a separate woman that I'm like internet friends with, and she's a separate entity. She doesn't get any money off of the ticket sales, and that's why these are upcharge attractions, so, because she doesn't get money off of wristbands or anything. But this is kind of a teaser, because at some point this next week, she and I are going to do a video together where she's going to help me film the in-depth safety features of these rides, because they're actually very, very, very safe despite how intense they are. They're what I call smart rides. That means that there's sensors on the seats. So for instance, if I zoom in right now, you can see that ride op just chilling in the seat. He's waiting for customers to come up. If he was to go to try to start the ride right now with those restraints up, the ride computer would throw an error and say, hey, you can't start this ride yet. The restraints aren't in the safe position. And so it makes sure that every rider is safely secured before that floor will drop and the ride will actually move. Same thing with speed over there. Every one of those seats has a sensor on them on the safety mechanism and on the restraint to make sure that you do not fall out. And I love KMG for that. And these things have what's called redundancy, which means that every safety system has something else backing it up. So if something goes wrong, the ride computer immediately knows and will bring the ride to a safe stop. So here's the other credit that's in the kiddie area. It's a Wacky Worm themed as Wacky Cowboy. So it has a unique front, like arguably a more friendly face on the front, where I've heard people, you know, in the past refer to the traditional Wacky Worm front as like a sleep paralysis demon and that kind of stuff. This one's much more cartoony, much more lovable, but it's basically a full Wacky Worm layout. But each segment of the car is painted as like a separate mouse, like a cowboy mouse, that are all kind of going along together. Like you can kind of see the different mice on it. So it's not like one continuous body of one character. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters back to back. But other than that, it's a stereotypical Wacky Worm. And actually for me, it was my first ever Wacky Worm. But either way, it's cool that, you know, for the first time in a long time, we have 2 credits here at the Montana State Fair. So that's it for this video, but I'll be doing several more throughout the week here at Montana State Fair 2025 in Great Falls, Montana. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Josh Hughes with American Coaster Enthusiasts Northwest Division. And thank you so much again. Can't wait to show you more. Can't wait to talk more about rides and just have fun nerding out.